Hello and welcome everyone. In this video we're going to talk a bit about the Artificer class and whether it's likely that we can actually see them eventually in the Baldur's Gate 3 game. Now, as I'm saying this, probably some of you are thinking, okay, hold your horses, Mr. Iceguard, what on earth are you talking about? Artificers are part of the Eberron D&D universe and not the Forgotten Realms. So for those of you actually thinking that, I have to say you're partially right, because back in 2020, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything book was released. Now in this book, the Artificer class is actually revised, and a new subclass, the Armorer, is added. So if we go into the book and actually read the class description for the Artificer, it says this. Masters of Invention. Artificers use ingenuity and magic to unlock extraordinary capabilities in objects. They see magic as a complex system waiting to be decoded and then harnessed in their spells and inventions. It then goes on to say that throughout the D&D multiverse, artificers create inventions and magic items of peace and war. Many lives have been brightened or saved because of the work of kind artificers, but countless lives, have also been lost because of the mass destruction unleashed by certain artificers' creations. In the Forgotten Realms, the island of Lantan or Lantan, I'm not sure what the pronunciation is on this word, is home to many artificers, and in the world of Dragonlance, Tinker Gnomes are of 10 members of this class. Strange technologies in the barrier peaks of the world of Greyhawk have inspired some folk to walk the path of the artificer. And in Mystara, various nations employ artificers to keep airships and other wondrous devices operational. So it basically kind of expands on where you would find artificers throughout the D&D multiverse, and Forgotten Realms is one of the universes basically that you can now find artificers. So this sort of answers the question that yes, we could have the artificer class based in the Forgotten Realms, which is what Baldur's Gate um, is based on basically. So a level 1 artificer would basically get the following class features: magical tinkering and spellcasting based on intelligence. Now, I want you to keep note of the word tinkering here. And I say that because of basically this guy, the deep gnome called Barkus Root. You first encounter him just off the blighted village, and he's basically the guy who's strapped to the windmill, and all the goblins are toying with him. So if you actually save him, there's some kind of dialogue that is triggered, and at some point, there's basically a dialogue that says something along the lines of, I'm a tinkerer. I can't remember how you trigger it or where exactly you trigger it, because you encounter him in two different positions. If you choose to save him basically at the windmill, then you can then encounter him again in Grimforge. So if you actually save him in Grimforge again, he's basically digging the rocks where Near is trapped. So if you do the whole Near encounter and save him before and after you free Near, then you can actually recruit this little dude in the camp. Now, whether he sticks there or doesn't stick there is a big question afterwards. But for early access, you can actually recruit him in the camp. And again, he describes himself as a tinkerer, and I think he's a merchant back in Baldur's Gate or something along those lines. Now, the other interesting thing about the deep gnomes is the deep gnome called Thula or Thala, however you want to pronounce it. So basically, she's injured, she's poisoned, she's been chased by the Dragar, and you can stumble across her at the Myconid camp. If you choose to help her by giving her an antitoxin, you can actually trigger a specific dialogue, which I found really interesting.
Maybe not, but you are. I need you to rescue my kin. We can pay. We're Iron Hand Clan, best artificers in Baldur's Gate.
So we are Iron Hand Clan, best artificers in Baldur's Gate. So there's another direct reference of artificer in the game. So we first have Barkus Root, who actually says, "I'm a tinkerer," which kind of alludes to the fact that he's potentially an artificer. But then we have Thola, who mentions directly that the Iron Hand clan are the best artificers in Baldur's Gate, potentially implying that there are other artificers in Baldur's Gate as well. So if we take that idea and stretch it a bit further, obviously we have this lovely dude, right? He is the second antagonist that Larian Studios revealed to us last month. He is Lord Enver Gortash. So what do we know about him up to now? We know that he's been ordained something by the Grand Duke. We know that he's been given quite a lot of power within Baldur's Gate because at some stage he refers to the city as being his. We definitely know that he is an inventor of some sort because he's developed these mechanical roboty type warrior guardians, whatever you want to call them, that he's stationed throughout the city, guarding the city. We also know that he was raised by a devil or something along those lines, but I won't go into detail on that. What I want to hone in on is the fact that he's developed these mechanical guards or slash robots. So that means he's relying on minions to do his bidding. So if we go back to Tasha's Cauldron of Everything book real quick, one of the actual artificer subclasses is called Battlesmith. So I just want to hone in on this note. Commanding nothing less than the power to create life, many battlesmiths turn their genius towards forging technologically remarkable puppies and kitties. Maybe I've underestimated them, Tasha writes. So obviously we've established that artificers who are battlesmiths rely on mechanical constructs during combat. Gortash's mechanical guards just seem like mechanical constructs to me, and just looking at him in this like final screenshot we get in the video teaser, he just, to me at least, he just gives the vibes of an artificer. I don't know, guys. I think I'm possibly onto something. And if I'm not, well, at least I tried, right? There's no harm in trying. So to sum up, basically we have Barkus Root, who mentions the fact that he's a tinkerer. We have Thula directly mentioning the fact that the Iron Hand clan are the finest artificers in Baldur's Gate. We have Lord Enver Gortash, who's got these mechanical constructs slash guards placed throughout the city. So we know that artificers are going to be in the game, at least in some form. And I honestly think that there is enough basis for us to at least speculate that they could be added in as a playable class. Now, they might add it in now, who knows? I guess we'll find out on the 37th of July during the next panel from Hell. I really hope that they add them in because they're a cool class to play. And if they're not added in now, there is definitely a basis of adding them in as a DLC or something, or an expansion later on, because the basis is there. They've made reference to them, so it wouldn't, I think anyway, take too much time and effort to include them in the game. But that's just me. Thank you to everyone who actually reached to the end of the video. It ended up being a bit of a long one, but there was stuff I wanted to cover to actually substantiate what my thoughts were and why I think it's possible that we might get the Artificer class. Um, Once again, thank you for watching. If you like this type of content, please consider leaving us a like, maybe a comment just to give me your thoughts. and also subscribing. Thank you very much, and see you on the next one.